I don't want radiostatic to be canon. At least, not any more than it already is. I guess a better way of putting it would be that I don't want them to get back together. Not that they ever were, kind of skipped dating and went right to being exes. And I think I want them to stay that way. I say that as a huge fan of their dynamic in canon and an avid murder media shipper and fanfiction enjoyer. I just feel like with everything that's happened, a more satisfying end to their character arcs would be for them to end still kind of enemies, or maybe like frenemies. I like the idea of Vox actually getting over Alastor and finding out that he already had exactly what he wanted in the V's. People who clearly care about him, and a partner in Valentino who actually reciprocates his feelings. And as for Alastor himself, I feel like realizing that he actually does value friendship will be an important part of his character arc. If it ends up being a positive one, which is not guaranteed. Definitely not guaranteed for it to be a positive one. So I kind of like the idea of a scene where Alastor admits to Vox that he was his friend, that this meant something to him too. But in this imaginary scene that I have dreamed up in my head for, I don't know, season 5 maybe, Vox has moved on and accepts Alastor saying that they were friends. Not as a sign to try again, instead as an acknowledgement of what they put one another through. I feel like if Vox spends the whole show thirsting over Alastor and then they end up together, that would feel like he hasn't learned anything. And they've both done so much harm to one another, it's hard to just move on from that. Like, this man is shattered, and the stuff that Alastor went through in season 2 is no joke. Which is kind of why I like the idea of Alastor acknowledging that they were friends, Vox saying, okay, but I don't need you anymore, I've moved on, and that being good enough. Them kind of both acknowledging that the other was important to them, but that it's over now, you know? Like, it can be kind of bittersweet. Of course, if the show ends up going in a totally different direction, I will still absolutely love it, I'm sure. This is just a little theory, a little, like, idea I've had floating around in my head. At the end of the day, I am excited for whatever the writers decide to do and look forward to seeing what story they have cooking. I more than trust them to execute it, and even if it's not to my personal taste in the end, that's not my place to decide. It's their story, and I'm just thrilled that they're sharing it with all of us. I'm sure I'll love whatever they do. What do you think? What do you think of this little headcanon-y kind of like theory I've got cooking over here? Would you rather they ended up together? What do you want to be like the end game? I'm so curious how people want these characters' arcs to end.